Okay, for the intro, two reasons why I wouldn't recommend it is that it does not have that many lenses for the native Z mount crop sensor cameras, and two, the lack of lenses with VR for the camera for the Z system APS-C cameras. While I would recommend it for everything else, that would only be the two things that would stop me from recommending the camera to you guys. Okay, not entirely related to the camera itself, but it is something you would definitely have to consider if you're going to jump into the system for real. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so I have been away for quite a while, but here's the takeaway on the Nikon Z50. I have been using this. I put it out to the test. I've shot weddings with it, I shot events with it, I've shot some product photography with it as well, and I have to say, as of today, this is probably one of the best APS-C camera that I have ever used. Why? Now, this video will simply tell you what you need to hear if you are planning on buying this camera. Okay, first up is the ergonomics. I will say this up front, the ergonomic of this camera is just amazing. I think by far of all other cameras I've used, like I've used many cameras from many other different brands, and so far the Z50 probably have one of the best ergonomics out there in terms of how the grips feels in your hand, how the buttons are all placed just well enough that you can literally operate the whole camera with just one hand. Yeah, there might be some buttons that will still require you to use both hands, but you can easily actually take photos, record videos, adjust important camera settings just with your one hand. And that one-handed operation is actually a thing. Okay, so because you will find other cameras that you won't be able to do that, and with the Nikon Z50 you can easily do that. Okay, and with the Z50 Mark II, they actually, I think, improved their ergonomics as compared to the ones before, and by far this is literally going to be it. So if you guys are in the market for an easy to use camera all around, mainly for, like myself for example, a hybrid shooter, this is going to be it. This is definitely a very good option. Okay, all the control dials are up here, the mode dials are up here, and you can easily switch from the photo mode to video mode with just a flip of the switch, and you can easily change it with one hand, so that's something. Okay, and you can use that user customizable modes on the dial. There's 3 custom modes there and one with the manual mode. On that you can preset 4 modes for photos and 4 modes for videos, and all of this can have their own separate settings set to them. And for example, when I shot weddings with it, wedding videos, I set one of those to go to 24 frames per second. I set the other one to go to 60 frames per second. I set the other one to 4K, for example, if I needed to punch in a little bit more on the footage itself. So all those settings comes in really handy, and I can easily preset them on each and one of these user customizable dials, and that is big. Okay, that's one thing. And then as we all know, the Z50 comes with the X-Speed 7 image processing unit. The autofocus system is just nice. By far, I don't have any sample to show to you guys, but in my experience using it, this is the camera that is able to focus the furthest away when it comes to human subject. Okay, I have had like a static frame like this, and for example, like I'm standing far away back there, this camera can actually still find my face even at that distance. Okay, I had before the Sony A7 IV, the R6 Mark II, and I can't remember it as accurate as when I had them, but I don't think those two can actually fight this one as far as subject recognition. in that distance. Okay, so that is a big plus. Okay, meaning to say, we all know that this camera borrows the XP7 processing from the Z9 and Z8, and good for you guys to know is that the autofocus system is just amazing. It's simply just amazing. Okay, and then all these side ports, I haven't really used them other than for the microphone and stuff, and I plug in an external microphone, so it functions just as it would. And yeah, I think, oh, the battery life. Now, the battery life, I think it does not last as long as the more professional bodies per se, but it does better than most of other entry-level cameras, probably just a little bit better than them, to the point that when I had it, I had on a full day of wedding shoot, like about 8 to 9 hours, I will have to have 3 to 4 batteries, and it won't be as good as the Sony FZ batteries or the Canon LPA6 batteries or the Nikon NL15 batteries, but it still holds up quite well. So this is definitely an option. And if you guys are thinking about getting the third-party batteries for this camera, know that this is one of them. Know that the third-party battery like this one, this is from the Kingma brand, actually lasts quite similar to the original batteries, so you will probably be better off. No, not better off, but you have that cheaper option of getting these third-party batteries, and you will also get the there's the external charger that comes with it, and I used to charge these original batteries and the third-party batteries in this same charger, and it works flawlessly. Okay, so yes, again, just to reiterate my point on this camera, if you guys are looking to buy one and this is what you're looking for, I would say go for it. It's a very good camera as far as the operability, the ergonomics, the usability, the performance. I think the video quality is great, the image quality is great. I have no complaints whatsoever on those things. However, there is one big issue that I think Nikon has yet to tackle on this camera, which is if you are considering this, you need to consider about getting the right lens for whatever you're using. Okay, I do believe after using it for quite a while, there is no well, Nikon Z system has been Nikon has been making lots of Z system lenses nowadays. However, I don't think they've put enough emphasis on the APS-C or the crop sensors cameras, so you will have to deal with that. Okay, I do find myself a little bit limited by the choices of lenses that are out there for my use. Okay, I've shot corporate events, I've shot weddings with it. I would highly appreciate if there is like a standard zoom lens with a constant aperture of f2.8 maybe. Like Sigma make those really good ones, the 1850, but they don't have it in the Z mount, and Tamron doesn't have them in Z mount as well. So you will be limited to, I think the best choices that I could find was the Nikon Nikkor 17 to 55 millimeter f2.8 AFS f mount, or the Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter f1.8 also f mount, which means you will have to use an adapter with it. There is no native mount zoom lens for this fella, unless you're going for the full frame Z lenses, which of course are a bit expensive, and also well, it's not technically designed for the crop sensors. Yes, you can use them, but you won't be able to fully utilize whatever it is with it. So that is one thing. Secondly, the image stabilization or the VR in videos. Okay, I wouldn't comment too much on the photo part because I don't really, I mean, I couldn't tell the difference when I have it or have it not have it. But as we all know, when you put in if you have a lens that does have a VR in it, like the kit lens, I will say this, it performs really well. With the lens VR, you can really get good and great solid image or video footage with the camera. However, if you switch to a different lens that does not have VR, like this one, this is the Viltrox 23mm f1.4 prime lens for Z mount. This does not have any VR in it or IS in it, so you will be stuck with a very shaky footage, like crazy shaky footage, unless you turn on the electronic VR. Now the electronic VR punch in quite a bit, and it does seem to be a little bit weird in my eyes, or maybe it's just me. Maybe outside with a higher shutter speed it's gonna look better, but when I used it during my wedding shoot, during my event shoot, they don't really come out nice as I hope they would. But if you use the lens VR like this one, the kit lens, the VR is actually quite good, and I can use a handheld footage with the lens VR. However, with this guy, which you don't have any IS in it, I myself, at least for me, my hands, my shaky raccoon-like hands, I couldn't get the footage to hold well. I mean, if you're using this, you literally have to use like a gimbal or a tripod to have it steady. In fact, even when I use a gimbal, it does appear just a little teeny bit weird going on. Well, that's probably just my hand, but when I use this lens, the kit lens, the shaky footages go away. Okay, so I think the only two reason of which I wouldn't recommend this fella here is, one, the lack of lenses for the native Z mount the APS-C lenses, and number two is the IS, the video IS. You have to have a lens with IS, and even on Nikon system themselves, I don't know, I haven't tried any F-mount VR lenses with this to see how it would perform with the Z50. But if you have a lens or like a Z mount APS-C lens which does not have any VR, you will be affected. I'm sure you will see the difference. You will definitely notice the difference. Okay, so that be it, guys. That will be my small rant in this very chill morning on the let's see, now this is the 18th of March at 6:58 a.m. Malaysia time. This is what I would tell you. The Z50, two reasons I wouldn't recommend it, but all other things, if you can get past that, this is an extremely good camera, and I am very sure it's gonna outgrow your own growth. Okay, so that will be it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I am supposed to make a stabilization video test with it. I had the footage, but I couldn't find it in my computer. I'll find them and I'll post them after this, but for now this would be it. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in my next video.